It's funny because
Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
Just how do you plan on doing that? Magic. Motherfucker.
And now for the wizards themselves, David Amaya and Phil Arroyo.
Did you return the Redbox DVD?
Dude, I love how
Did
you
you do
just
it?
automatically
Did you do it?
came to that.
Wait,
I
you
love
fucking tell this one.
no.
Is it-
I love.
Is it this?
Oh god.
You're in contempt of course.
Oh god.
Contempt.
I love how you just fucking automatically went to that where I was. We didn't plan this, people. He brought this up on his own terms, and I was just.
And I want the truth.
I was just about to say that I was gonna return it today, and I didn't, but I'm gonna return it tomorrow. I still haven't returned it, but guess what? This is a test. This is a social experiment for everybody else out there who still is ancient enough to rent fucking DVDs on Redbox like myself.
Just you, bro.
The one time that I did.
Just you.
Anyways, no, but I will return it and I will let you know what the cost is. But you know what I did do today? I fucking voted.
Yes, sir.
And I paid my cell phone fucking ticket the day before it was due. I would have had to been at court by 8 o'clock tomorrow to fucking pay that shit.
Look
I
at
went
you
today,
being a
I paid that
responsible
shit.
citizen.
I'm being an adult.
Hell yeah.
I'm being a motherfucking adult.
Your mother and I are so proud of you.
She was, actually, when I called her this morning and I was like, look, I gotta go pay this fucking thing. And she's like, yeah, no shit. Like, get your shit together. Be an adult. She didn't say that. My mother would never swear. But this is the way I take it. And this is the way I take it because
She sweared with her eyes.
I should know. Well, I mean, you can't see through the phone, Phil. But yeah, basically. She was just, my mother is a sweetheart. She would never say that to me because she spoils me. But I am growing up little by little at 30 years old. And, we're talking about how that shit doesn't really fucking matter in this episode. We've got one of our friends, Aaron, who you've heard on the show many times before.
Dear friends, closest friends, brothers, families, and by the time we get to
Yeah,
the end
I
of it,
mean,
we realize
it's not like he
we
doesn't-
are each other. This is the singularity.
It's not like he doesn't live, right below you, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally. Right
There's a reason for
underneath
that.
you. And we could have gone on and on and
Quiet,
on.
monkey. I know I turned your mic on, but no.
Oh, is my mic on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
God damn it.
We could have gone on and on and on and on and on with Aaron. But we didn't because, he's moving and we got to save some more fucking room for when he comes back because he's always going to come back. Because we know that we're never going to fucking separate from this guy completely.
God, smooth as fuck.
He is
Shit.
our fucking Phil. Don't ruin this magic that I'm
I'm
going
sorry,
with.
you're
with
killing
your
it right now. I
nonsense
had
right
to.
now. Okay, this is
I
what
had
the
to acknowledge
rum that fucking Aaron provides me with does to me. But anyways, this episode is going to be just, one of the episodes that really showcases the reasons why we started this podcast.
Can I drop some? I've been doing this on my own Instagram, and this has been fun for me. Drop in all the options that I have for episode titles written down. Can I do, maybe that will tease this out so some people
please do. Please
can maybe
Go with
get excited about
Go with it. Go with it.
And I will not explain any of it. You have to listen. Okay, so let's see. Number 1, I have not settled. Number 2, the blacksmith. Number 3, nothing left to explore, but everything left to create.
Yes.
Number 4, wait. Fame doesn't make you a dick, Mike Tyson. Let's see.
Jeez.
Pickle game. Ain't no Paul Blart.
You got deep on that shit. Dude.
Kienes Emmanuel.
I'm like going back on the timeline of this episode, and you got deep on this.
I took a lot of notes,
Yeah,
man.
you did.
And I think the last one is Pavlov's hierarchy of needs.
So that's where you stopped. So that we know that's where it stopped. So we also encourage you to listen to the show and see where Phil's notes. See how good of a note taker Phil was.
Wait, I'm sorry. There's 2 more at the end here. Boundless empathy and love, and empathy isn't a finite hard drive.
God.
The last one. I vote the last one.
Well, then that must be
I don't
what
know
it
if I'm
is.
What
still
the fuck
on.
does any of that mean? Well, maybe you guys should keep on listening. You should subscribe to the show so you get to your phone every week. You should follow at Let It Bleedcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then maybe you'll start to get the picture, dum-dum.
Yeah. Well, we had Aaron on because, he's going to be leaving us soon. And although we will never completely separate ties, we will always be missing him and his energy and all of the stuff that he brings to the table over here with all of the ever-growing community that we talk about on a weekly basis. He's definitely a very essential part of that. And he's been with us since the very beginning. And so we couldn't be happier to have one of our dearest friends on the show talking just about his experiences in life, which, definitely expand across the whole spectrum of experiences because he's been involved in, so many different types of life. The military, the fucking festival scene, rave scene, fucking just being a fucking rad human being. And so we hope that you can take something away from this. We're having a lot of fun with it. We won't be around next week, so that's why we're doing this. And we also want to go ahead and get out a couple things.
We're taking E3 off.
Yeah, taking E3 off.
That's
Phil's
right.
a fucking nerd. No, I'm just kidding.
And proud.
Yeah, he actually has one of the coolest jobs that you can think of.
Oh, it's so fucking cool.
But, we also have a big event coming up. Phil, why don't you go ahead and tell them about
Oh, wait. Are you talking about that Big Bang I keep hearing about?
it? Yeah.
Oh, shit. The Big Bang? You mean the one that's on June 28th?
No, I'm talking about the thing Carl Sagan was talking about on the Cosmos.
No,
back in
the other one.
Oh,
that's got people
Neil
like
deGrasse Tyson was
Untitled
talking
and
about
Milan
it.
and Liquor Box headlining.
Oh, that thing.
You know the one that's at that Union nightclub in LA on the 28th with
Got it.
tickets on pre-sale now with the Eventbrite link in the description of this episode. That one?
All right.
Oh
That's what it
shit.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything I just said.
Yeah. So on the 28th of this month, you have to come out if you like bass or house music. This is one of those events where you don't have to choose.
If you like both, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, if you like both, then you definitely need to come out. But if you're one of those people that's like, well, it's a house event, I like bass music, I don't want to go, or vice versa, I only like techno or house, I'm not going because it's the bass event.
It's the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups of EDM dance events.
You have absolutely no excuse because we've got some fucking headliners from both. We've got some of the great people that you've probably never heard of that will blow your fucking minds. And we've also got amazing artists coming out. And, this is one of the things that we've been leading up to for a while now. We've got a lot of our friends, all of the effort that we've been putting into kind of trying to bring you guys this raw, organic energy, this, true passion for creativity. We're bringing it to you guys on a Thursday night. So come out, support, love, enjoy everything that we're bringing you guys. So
bang bang. And then hey, while you guys are overlooking that stuff up, and you got the application open, you might as well follow our boy Mr. Please over here. That is MISTER.PLEAS. I was almost trying to do that in the rhythm of METHOD man, and then I was like, I'm not doing that right now. And so I had to fucking switch that halfway through. Jesus Christ, I'm high.
I would try to make fun of you in the Method Man version too, but it's way too difficult at this point for myself too.
Oh God.
As always, you can
And
follow
my
me.
baloney has a first name. And speaking of baloney, go ahead and follow his new adorable snick that is Bodhi's Bungalow at BODHIS Bungalow. BUN-galow.
I'm following right now.
Do it. He already has more followers than I do.
And now, go
As
ahead.
always, you could follow me at Hood Red Stuff with 3 Fs. But more importantly, follow all the fucking dope-ass artists that I like to share and promote that are my very good friends at the Psychedelic Lions Den. That's psychedelic_lions_den.
I really like what you did a couple days ago, whenever it was, when you posted like everybody that you work with, like that the 15 like portraits.
That was today.
Oh, that was today.
That was literally today.
Wow.
Yeah, you are just like you working way too hard, Phil. You need to go to sleep.
Oh
You
man.
need to take a nap.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm doing after
Literally
this.
this morning. So, but
We don't
anyways,
usually record these at 1 a.m.
go check this out, guys. And you know what? Come out to the Art in the Park. That's going to be on the 16th, the day before Father's Day. So it's going to be on a Saturday as opposed to a Sunday, which it usually will be laying on. So come out and create your father a good Father's Day gift or something, you know? Just hang out and have a good time with us.
Shit.
Go out and create your
Come out and become a father.
Man, I had it ready to go. I was like, you know what? Nope. I'm going to keep it classy. I'm going to just throw to the end. But
It's a long
instead,
day.
Dave missed his cue.
As always.
To counteract it.
Yeah,
You know what?
or to just make it normal so that you don't feel fucked up. So, I mean,
You can
Well-
have a shot here.
You are a doctor. So
yes.
I would be foolish not to take your word for it.
And as your financial advisor.
As a doctor,
Oh,
I
Jesus
say,
Christ.
I
Okay.
say, you put the lime
Give
in
me-
the coconut. You
Give me
put
a
it
second
together.
before I can handle that one right there.
I think actually that's what you need is some booze. Not the hurricane shit, because that shit is... That'll put you to sleep and give you farts, man. That stuff is not good for you.
I got
I'm
half
already
a 12
sleeping at
pack
40.
I know.
I got beers down there.
Oh,
for
I
you.
keep forgetting about that.
They're
shit.
really good
Every
beer
time I
for
go,
you
every
downstairs.
time I go down to the fridge, I open that shit. I'm like, oh yeah, and then I'm like, oh shit, I don't really need a beer right now. I'll come back later, and then I forget immediately.
It's still there.
The beer will make me tired.
I think I'll grab a couple.
the
I'll test your guys' hypothesis out.
hypothesis.
Hypothesis?
So what?
So
when
where
are
were
you
you rolling, huh?
Yeah, who cares? It don't matter to me. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it gets edited out wherever we need to get edited out. But so when are you going to fucking
To wherever.
to wherever?
I don't even know. Right now, I've got a couple of variables that I got to be sure about. The chief being, when my school benefits run out.
Uh-huh.
So like when. So I'm not sure if. Like I go to school in May and then I get paid in June.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to school this summer. I'm going to school in June and July. I think I should get paid for July, August 1st, which gives me through to September 1st to be out of here.
Uh-huh.
And then yeah. So short date, August 1st, long date, September 1st.
So you'll be around then for the Kazulu Mountain Jam.
I guess.
What's
that I will
the
be.
date on that?
Yeah, I don't even know.
July 20th, the 21st and 22nd. Realistically, people will be going on the 21st as for the one night thing or one day thing. But I'm going to try to get there on Friday with as many people who are willing to go so we could save as many spots this time. Because by Saturday, they were kind of filling up, you know? But like I feel like this time around, a lot more people are going to want to go. And so I want to make sure that we have the spots.
It is prime time.
Yeah, so I got the flyer I'm working on right here. Almost
Dude, it
done.
looks so
Oh, fuck
sick.
yeah.
I can now read it. Like, yeah,
Your skills, like just watching you over the last couple of years.
that might be my favorite one.
You just every
pretty
one
cool.
I say that like you're getting just better and better and better every time.
Thank you, man.
It's rad.
It's
like
fucking,
watching that progression is super cool.
It's
It's almost like I have a child.
you know, it's
And I'm
almost
like, no, I definitely that one's going on
proud
the
of you,
fucking fridge, dude.
it's almost like I'm my own child. Like I get so excited about these things. Like honestly, like I don't really care to do anything else. It's kind of absolutely. It's kind of just like what I look forward to doing. Like it's other than moments like this, or or if I'm really doing something that I don't know, going hiking or something.
Yeah.
This is pretty much all I think about. Like when I'm at work, I can't really do my job because I'm just like coming up with other ideas. Like what
right.
color should I paint this, or do this or that. And
That's really cool.
it's cool to have something so like fresh and brand new at the age of 30. I love the fact, and I tell people that I feel younger and younger all the time. And it's because I have not in any way, shape, or form settled down into anything yet in life. Like I've just kind of, kept the doors open for new discovery and going with it. Because people are like, wait, you just got into doing this like a year ago? So yeah, like at like 30, like, you know, like perplexed as to like how I haven't already figured out my life and been well on my way to, you know, like
Well, I'd immediately throw
retiring.
it back in their face and be like, "What? Like you've got it all figured out?
No, I mean,
Like, you got it figured out? Like,
you know,
you're perplexed that I'm coming up with something new?" And...
I definitely don't take offense to it.
No,
Like,
not like
yeah.
in a bad way. Just
Sure.
like, why are you
Yeah.
why are you weirded out or perplexed by the fact that I'm trying something new in my 30s?
It's kind of like
It's the best time.
I'm not really surprised though. That's the
I feel
thing.
sorry for those
like once I
people, you know?
realize that, I'm kind of like, yeah, like you're saying, like you kind of not to, you know,
Why don't
not
you
in an
constantly-
elitist sort of way, or I mean, you know, a grandiose way of thinking. But it's not to say like I feel sorry for them, like their life is a piece of shit. But it's just kind of like, yeah, you know,
But it's
damn.
just they can't fathom that. It's not
Yeah.
too late, you know. It's like, hell, everything
it's-
should.
yeah.
You should always have, you know, some fresh, exciting stuff, some
Absolutely.
new things
I
that
took-
challenge you. You know,
I've taken
I think people would
two
want that.
kind of art related classes while I've been going to school doing the aircraft thing. One was the furniture building class.
oh yeah, that
I
was
built
cool.
my chair,
Yeah,
which is just rad. I love that thing. And I took a jewelry making class,
Oh, that's right.
which I found out is like way easier than you could possibly imagine, and the tools in which that like I needed to do the job are really cheap and readily available. I've got it 99% of the stuff that I would need to make a little piece of jewelry on me like right now, just in the living room. So
Oh,
pretty
I thought you
cool
meant like
once-
on you right now. I was like,
yeah, at all times.
why do you keep a soldering iron in your pocket? It's
That's-
alarming.
Why stuff like any sort of hobby where it involves creating things, getting creative, like whether it's art or, you know, anything like carpentry or a skill that you know you can make beautiful things with. Once you learn and you get good at the basics, you kind of just start seeing that you can pretty much use anything around you to make something.
Yeah.
And that's what's beautiful. You just fucking like get crafty with it. You MacGyver some shit.
You start not just with art, but like you start looking at the world in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, like when I started working on airplanes and stuff, like the whole like I need to call somebody else to fix this mentality just went out the window.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I can totally fix this. Or give me an hour on YouTube, I'm probably going to figure it out.
Right.
And there's been stuff here around the house that I've saved Phil hundreds of dollars on. And just because I
Yeah, no.
he
Whenever
was willing to crawl into the attic and find out what the fuck was leaking. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I get that same confidence when stuff breaks around here too, I'm like, yeah, Aaron can fix this.
Dude.
And then I call him and go, Aaron,
Well, yeah.
only time I wear the pants.
can you
around
get something
here.
off the top shelf?
Yeah.
Well, there's certain people that just like doing that shit. Like you're like my dad in that way. Like he likes to go and watch videos and learn how to save money on the car as much as possible by doing it. And it's
Yeah.
like become his new hobby, you know? Like, and that's the beautiful age that we do live in, you know, despite all the disconnect that people complain about with, you know, the internet and everything that comes along with it, you know, our culture. But we never ever have we been able to just do anything or learn anything we want, you know. You
Yeah.
can type in the most random thing in the world that you would never think you could find at even the highest paying or the highest fucking tuition fucking college would serve for you. But you know,
Yeah.
you could go type it up on fucking YouTube and holy shit, somebody made a video for this and so it's teaching you how
Even
to
like
do this.
30 years ago, your dad would have been like qualified to be a mechanic probably with like the knowledge you get from these things. It's
Sure,
crazy
yeah.
how
Yeah.
like much of an education you can get and
least
how
a
qualified you can be on a
apprentice or
subject. Like, you know.
Yeah. No, and it's a weird. I just noticed there was a cat in here. It just moved. Like for the first time, Frankie just perked up.
She just perked up, little Frankie over there.
On that side.
Yeah, but like, it's a really interesting thing that people don't really know how to do things anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember hearing something a long time ago. I don't remember how long it was, but it was somebody was talking about people that make horseshoes.
Mm-hmm.
Who makes horseshoes? A blacksmith,
Yeah.
right? And who knows a blacksmith?
Oh, they prefer African American Smith now.
I know,
but you know, blacksmiths will get paid $50,000 a year to make horseshoes.
Really? How many horseshoes?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like a lot. I'm sure you got to make more than like a few, but like a skilled black, because you can't just like stamp them out like Nikes and be like, all right, cool, you're a size 12 shoe. Like each and every one, and sometimes every one for each foot of the horse has to be custom made, and they all have to be like very specific and everything.
Oh, really?
And that's like a $50,000 to $100,000 a year job, depending on what kind of horses you're working on. And nobody knows how to do it anymore. So you can charge whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, I'll shoe your horse for $1,000.
That's a great, like, kind of reverse monopoly there.
Yeah, and
like just because nobody else cares.
Yeah, because like, yeah, exactly. Like
just
nobody
stick with it. Right place at the right time.
Yeah,
of thing. You just
and it's weird, and it's stuff like that, but it's not necessarily being the blacksmith. It's being willing to like become the blacksmith, or being willing to try and be the blacksmith, or something like that. Like. A lot of people now are so focused on whatever it is they're doing with school or their lives or their work or whatever. Like the whole can-do attitude thing. Like try it, fuck it up, and then I'll fix it. You give it a shot, and then I'll fix it if you ruin it. Has just gone out the window. Like nobody even like my dad couldn't have taught me how to do any of the things that I'm learning how to do. Right on airplanes, he just had he knew some. He's a writer and he knows some computer stuff, and like that's kind of the extent of his wheelhouse. If you want to, he knows other things, of course, but like physically, like I am the one that fixed things around the house, and it's just weird. Like it's that's becoming kind of the handiness, like fixer attitude.
I think though that's kind of I think that's just honestly relative towards your own individual families or which part of the cycle you're on, because it's the opposite for me and my family. My dad is that person, and I'm not that person. I'm the type that, like, because he was the athletic.
Because you got a guy.
Well, because
you have somebody.
Because he did that. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You got a guy.
It serves a function.
Phil's got a guy. I didn't have a guy, so I became the guy, and then everybody around me stopped being the guy. They're like, we're good. We got, but
there's a purpose. Everybody has like a role,
But I like that too, like everybody does have a role.
Right.
In a
community, it has to.
And that's what it is. And I think that we talk about this a lot. I've heard you guys talk about it a lot, is the community. And if you're 2 or 3 degrees of separation from the guy that can do the thing, then I think you're good.
Well, that's how our shit's starting to run.
That's
now.
how it should. That's how it should work.
We need sound. Oh, we got these guys have a sound system.
Yeah,
they're they can all like come together. Oh, okay, we need DJs. Like, oh, these guys all spin music. We need this. We've got these guys over here. We need somebody who can build something. Some random person knows how to weld and fucking do it. Like, there's always there's always somebody like you around that just like knows how to do all the mechanic shit, while like other people like Dave and myself are just like, myself's like, I don't know, I know how to change a tire, and Dave's like, here, go like take it to the BMW dealer and I will fix it for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like you adapt to those types, something like that, like whatever the group.
We all know, we all know what we're good for.
But we're all great at together.
Tank, I'm a healer,
Yeah, totally.
I'm an empath. I can feel everything going on.
DPS, everything.
Yeah, no, he's got this strong DPS over here on this side.
Yeah. It's like, God damn it. Fucking Hunter let his animal loose again.
What happened?
What? That was a World of Warcraft reference. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay. Yeah, okay, jeez, man.
I was like,
I knew he was going to miss it.
Who's Hunter?
See, I feel
is that like
I've said this before, but I feel like I'm so
go with the boxer?
Not part of like there's a whole part of the world that I'm missing, and I don't know whether it's for better or for worse, but I just feel that naturally moving into what we're going to begin to like. With technology in general, computers is one thing, but like video games, like most people I know, like girls, like it's that whole stereotype of girls and whatnot, like. Not really being into video games, like I can show you, like 9 out of 10 girls probably play more video games than I do now, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know.
I think it's like 52 or 53% women, 48% men.
Yeah, I mean,
now, is that like a regular thing, or like I play video games every so often? I probably put in less than 5 hours every couple of weeks.
I want to say. No, I want to say probably less than 5 hours every couple of weeks. I want to say it was somewhere along there. It wasn't like a super high bar for entry.
Okay.
And a lot of it is, women play a lot of like Candy Crush. You
Phone
know?
games. Okay.
My
Yeah.
mom, all the fucking. So that's the kind of video games you're talking about. Like,
Yeah, they're video games.
that's true. But I'm talking like gamer games. But
There's
'cause-
still a lot of women on there too.
because
Well, okay,
those
so-
are more what
but
I'm
that's-
talking about in terms of like those are more like going into the VR type of world, like putting yourself into different experiences and communicating with people through whatever, like if you're playing fucking Call of Duty or whatever, you could be on there with some dude from across the world talking to him. Like that's not really how it goes with Candy Crush and whatnot,
Yeah, well, for women gaming, there's a lot. There's a lot
I mean,
of
not
games that are popular.
necessarily. I've known people that had legitimate communities on playing phone games
Yeah.
in their phone, like through Facebook. Not even like
Everwing.
like great like so kind of like that. You remember like fucking Mafia Wars or whatever? through
I never
Facebook?
played. I never played.
I never did either, but like my brother-in-law was like super deep into Mafia Wars or some version of that
People
game.
used to add just random people
And-
from the
and
communities
yeah,
to play
yeah.
the game and empower each
and
other.
then
up.
and then your best players and friends in the game like sometimes crossed over into the real world and stuff, and then you end up getting like real relationships. I had a friend from high school who ended up she played Halo online with this dude from Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Lance, I don't know where you're from. And they ended up getting married, and now they got a kid together, and they
Not
live here on the
surprised.
West Coast, and from Halo online from like
Yeah.
way back in the day.
Yeah, man.
And
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a real thing, and it's kind of like like reading a book. People nowadays will say, "Oh, it's not like reading a book." You're not really involved as you were reading a book, and everybody that has ever read the book was just you share something that read the entire Harry Potter series. It's like, yeah, that's all well and good, right? But I play 75 hours of frickin' Fallout, and I can talk with somebody else about it, and then we can start geeking out about that. It's kind of like the new books.
It's that
The
cultural
storylines
touchstone. Man.
are
Right.
so big
Right.
and so intense and so much more elaborate. Now you can be in the story and in the book.
Right.
You can control it a little bit. It's kind of interesting.
It's
Yeah.
it's the new great medium. It's the 21st century's like real new medium.
Yeah.
we had
We had
moving
books
pictures
and
back then. then we got
radio
TV,
and movies, and then TV, and then
now
now
it's
we've got
games.
video games.
But to give you some sort of, what I'm talking about, the last video game I ever beat, a full game, was on PS1, Metal Gear Solid.
I mean, that's a solid win right there.
Right,
That game was hard.
But I can't even say that I've come and picked up an Xbox controller ever once and like known what the fuck I was doing. Like, I don't even know how to start the thing or put it. Like, I've just never done it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just something in my brain just like, nope. You're not gonna do video games. You're not. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I remember when my friends used to play Halo, and obviously the TVs were shitty back then. They were playing in the garage on the split screen four way, and I felt like I was having either epilepsy or like the worst migraine ever too, just because like my eyes, as I was trying to like focus on the other person's screen, and mine at the same time, I was just like, what the fuck?
Well, it's because you're not supposed to do that.
Well, I mean, how could you not? That's like, unless you
we,
have like
we
your
evolved that way.
I don't know,
to
man.
not be screen peekers. Okay, that is some human evolution stuff right there.
I don't know, man.
So don't play God, man.
How-
don't play God? Just
See,
stay in your lane.
maybe
Watch your own screen.
That's
okay?
that's the thing. I never
Don't worry
like
what I'm
staying
doing
in
on the
my
right
lane.
side, okay?
It's like, don't keep me confined to this fucking one box when I can clearly see that other one right there. Fuck that.
Oh man.
Anyways, it's hurting my head just thinking about it right now. Actually,
And
like,
I miss those days when there was a ton of like same screen couch multiplayer is what they used to call it.
Yeah.
that's what it
Like,
was. Yeah.
And that was the shit, man. And
Oh, that
nobody
was the
really
best.
but the Switch is doing that anymore. So
To,
that's why I'm
to,
stoked
to,
to have this
to play with somebody else, you had to go over to their house.
Yeah.
thing. And
Shit, I remember
And
GoldenEye.
now,
That was the
fucking,
dope shit.
Like World of Warcraft. Like I'm one of those people. Like I've been to like a former guildmate's like wedding. Like I still
right,
talk
you were
to
talking about that.
I still talk to
It's
friends that
so
were in my
fucking
World
cool.
of Warcraft guild. Like God, it had to have been like almost 10 years ago now. Over 10 years ago.
Yeah, me and Phil, we fought.
Like-
we fought together back in 1999. Like,
Yeah,
oh
no,
yeah,
I-
we're Iraq. No, World of Warcraft.
Gosh. On the plains of Azeroth.
I got my buddy. I I got my buddy like Messi from Brooklyn, and like I just talked to him like 2 days ago.
That's rad.
Yeah, we've
Like they
actually
hit
never
you up
met.
if they had problems and shit. Like, dude, we gotta go take care of Phil.
No, we talk about game stuff like that because he works in video games too now, and I work in video games. And he's trying to move out here, so we talk on the regular, pretty much.
That's cool.
And I've never actually met the guy physically in person.
Dude, but yeah,
But we're still friends 10 years later.
I had a few friends. I've had a few friends over the years. We've lost touch since, mostly because like my real life got so complicated, it was hard to keep up with my online life. But when I was isolated, when I was overseas, when I was doing security, when I was, living on my own in LA, a lot of my social life outside of work was online.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird to think, like, I did have a lot of friends that I've only known online. There was a girl that I met online in like a Yahoo chat room when I was in like 9th grade or some shit. And we were friends forever. For probably like 15 years. We were friends online, and we'd chat every once in a while, and it'd peter off, and then we'd like pick back up or whatever. And then we finally met in person one time, and we were just like, no, we're not. This is a good. Nah, I think we're cool.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah, you're a lot more fun online.
Yeah.
And I was
that would be weird.
Like, and I like to think that I'm pretty true to myself. But one of the things that's cool about being online for people, especially who don't do super well in the real world, is you can do whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
And as long as you're not selling anything, go ahead and be whatever you want. If it gives you confidence and makes you feel better about yourself, go right ahead. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, it just, it was weird. We met in person. I don't think we've talked since.
And that's why it's such a whole new frontier that's being explored too, like this type of dual world that we're living in,
Yeah.
People say, like, there's nothing left to explore. It's like, no, that's a whole new thing.
Oh no, now there's everything left to create.
Right. Yeah. Create and to be explored. Exactly. So create, explore, because this, you're exactly right. I felt that too, where people on Instagram, like, you talk to these people, you could be friends with them, and then, you actually meet them, and it's just like, wow, like, I thought we were really good friends. Like, we like all the same stuff. Like, I remember there's this one girl, and not to get too much into it, just in case whoever's listening, but like, it was like, everybody's like, oh yeah, you guys have everything in common, like, and you guys, and we're like, yeah, you're looking at all the pictures, and we're going to the same places, and we're posting like the same things and the same trite ass quotes, and like, just all that shit, and you're like, falling into the romantic idea, like, oh yeah, we're, we should definitely meet up and hang out, and then you do, and you're like, yeah, no, that's not.
Yeah.
It's a facade,
Yeah. But like, also, does that make it less real what that relationship was in the past? If you're still engaged with somebody, like, relationship in like the broader sense of the world. But I mean, like, is that relationship any more or less diminished because in person you don't click?
Well, see, that's a whole other idea that we're exploring now. That we're
like think of it almost as like, ooh. Would this be right, maybe? Oh, actually, no. I was going to say maybe like thinking of like somebody who just from online. But like they don't... Like you're a fan of somebody or something like that. I would maybe apply it to that, but then the more that I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, somebody else start talking because that was stupid.
Well, that's another thing too, because, you get these... we see that with social media and like people that have a lot of Instagram fans. And there's people that legitimately... Or, they call them their friends. But it's like, really, you don't know these people, and like... It's a weird thing because one could look at it as like it's totally narcissistic, but these people do, you see it, like, they really inspire and change people's lives in a lot of ways, and they have a lot of influence over a lot of people. And these people try to reach out to you, and they'll say like, oh, you're all my friends, and that's like where people were like, well, they're not your real friends.
No, they're your fans.
They're your, but
like that is a relationship.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it is.
That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of weird because it's like, we could sit here and talk shit on it, but they really, if the person has good intentions, or like they're coming from a place, like they're not making money off of these people, like, liking their photos and whatnot. And they're honestly appreciative that these people are like giving them the time of day, and they want to be there for these people because they want to be able to use this, if they can, as a positive platform for something, because a lot of them are. I'm not talking about the people that are doing like the, super vain modeling stuff. I'm talking about people that are like, giving out advice, or, sharing art, or, doing stuff that's inspiring other people. because that's a way to get it out there.
There's enough influencers out there who just genuinely like just care about people, you know,
Right.
and if they have that shared passion, whatever it may be, you know, whatever it is your thing,
Or it's a way
makeup,
to, you know,
it's comedy,
share your
it's-
political views.
Yeah, it's
that,
politics,
You know,
you know.
you can share all these things that you're trying to make the world a better place. It's not like you're just going on there like and pulling a Kardashian thing and just being like, oh my god, you know, like it's something you are still able to use as a platform if you want to for the better.
Think of all that, like the people that are doing well at that, you know, are the genuine people in real life too. You know, like there are people that solely exist online and they're the best version of themselves only online, and in life they suck super balls. But the people that are doing great work are the ones that, you know, are just regular people that just happen to find a niche that resonates with other folks, and they've taken that platform and they've used it to the best of their ability to, you know, reach as many people as possible. I think it's kind of neat.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And in general, just having just kind of being in that influencer you know, sphere, having met so many of them, so many people, like the rate of like people who are just kind of dicks about it and thinking they're all great and shit like that, to the people who genuinely just love what they do and care and want to help people, it is 1,000 to 1. Just people who genuinely care and want to help people,
Right.
Because I gotta imagine, like, if you've got such an ego, like, you're not going to go far in whatever it is you're doing, because people just are not going to respect that. Like, you can't.
We were just talking about that the other day too.
Yeah,
on
you can't
the
hide
hike.
that.
You know, about like you have to be a pleasure to work with if you want to, you know, sustain any sort of real longevity in what you're doing these days. Like back in the day when things were different, like you see movies where like the whole, especially in like the entertainment business and all these other places where things were just rough, you know, well, that was just life. Like, you know, people could just treat you like a dick and get away with it. But now it's, you know, you got to be, and in fact, it was probably almost like praised back then, you know, to like put yourself at that level and to be a dick, you know, people.
Back in the day, you could just grab people by the pussy and get away with it.
Yeah.
Well, apparently you could nowadays if you're the president too,
Hey.
you know, but
That's what he meant by making it great again.
The
bringing that
good old
part back.
days.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, we were talking about people in doing any of this stuff. You have to be pleasant to work with, otherwise nobody's going to want to work with you. You know, all the people that are really successful, Appleby was telling me, like in the movie industry, you know, the people that they've dealt with, the actors and stuff, the ones that are usually successful are the ones that are, they've always been really nice and pleasant to work with, and they don't like treat you like a lesser human being. You know, they actually treat you with respect.
Did you ever see his episode of How I Met Your Mother? I know Phil doesn't watch it, but it's Barney talking about the hot crazy scale.
I mean,
For
it sounds
a girl, like if she's so hot, you can deal with a certain amount of crazy, but as the hotness goes down and the crazy stays the same, you're like, no, I can't work with you. So like in the industry or in anything, like you either have to be the fucking best. Like there's a level of bullshit people are
like Jim
willing to
Carrey
put
and
up
Man on the
with.
Moon.
Looking at you, Kanye.
Yeah, or look at it fucking
Kanye.
yeah, Kanye.
Yeah. You have to be a god like Kanye.
No, for real, it's infinitely frustrating. Every time he does some crazy shit, I'm just like, fuck off, Kanye. Like, nobody likes you. And then I hear the album, I'm just like, fuck, it's really good.
Yeah,
Kanye.
God damn it.
Yeah.
the album is good.
Making a fucking fool out of me.
His last two, this new one's pretty good. I
I
like it a
haven't,
lot.
it?
I haven't listened to Gay yet, but Life of
haven't
Pablo
listened to it.
was pretty dope. And
Yeah.
those singles that he dropped after his TMZ rant,
I mean,
fuck, they were so good.
you know, we were.
Well, at some point you gotta just like do with like a lot of people did with Michael Jackson and be like, you are really good at that thing that I like you doing, but everything else we're just gonna pretend doesn't exist. You know, like, you know, the king of pop is the king of pop, will always be the king of pop. Never mind the fact that he held a baby over a railing
Right.
or bleached himself, but Beat It is still a rad song.
Right.
You know, you gotta separate the person from the thing. You know, like Tom Cruise.
To a certain extent.
But how much is it? Yeah, people making them do that by just like putting all this extra attention on them. Because like what I'll do,
can't
I'll
even
put the
imagine.
album on, I'll listen to him like that's fucking dope. But I won't pay 2 fucking cents of attention to fucking what Kanye West is doing outside of that. Like I don't give
Yeah,
a
so
shit.
that's the kind
I
of
don't
thing.
give a fuck.
That's the kind of thing, you know, like fucking all these old school artists and stuff that we revere and everything for what they passed down and the art that we still have access to and what they did and so on. Like, they could have been complete douchebags in their personal life, but what we're going to remember them for is Starry Night.
But there is a level of douchebaggery that will not be... That will not
this day and
bring
age,
back.
everything's on tape. Everything's recorded.
Yeah. Like,
You know?
I refuse till the day that I die. I was a humongous Chris Brown fan up until 2009. And I do not...
Yeah.
Until
No.
I
Rihanna,
can't really listen
until
to his music
Rihanna
anymore.
bottom.
Yeah. Oh, man.
What
Nah, dude. Like, when you... It's so fucking brutal. You know, I cannot forgive somebody like that.
Dude.
I can never watch anything with Bill Cosby in it ever again.
Ever.
You know?
But he never got in trouble,
There's
did he?
No, he just got...
He just legit went to jail.
Yeah.
No, Bill Cosby, for sure.
Yeah,
But
Cosby.
I'm talking about Chris Brown.
Chris Brown?
Yeah. Did he get in trouble?
I feel like he got...
He got a couple of slaps,
I feel like
but
if
then
he didn't
Rihanna
go to
came
jail
around
for
and like
that, he went to
apologized
jail.
and like said it's okay and I forgive you and all this other stuff, and everybody was
But he's
like,
still acting a fool and fucking fighting people and doing all this crazy shit. He's off the deep end, like face tattoos, just like punching girls. He hasn't changed or learned a goddamn thing.
why can't people just like Mike Tyson with the face tattoos? Just get one and then just stay that level of weird and ride it out for the rest of your career.
I mean, Mike Tyson has come around to be his own parody, and honestly, I fucking love it.
Yeah,
I've come
dude,
to
he's
respect
leaning
Mike
into it
Tyson.
so hard.
Yeah, like with all that Adult Swim cartoon
loved
that he
him in
was
The
doing.
Hangover.
God damn,
Dude,
that
it
show
was
is so
great.
fucking funny, man.
Where was it? Comedy Central. It was Comedy Central.
No, I think it was Adult Swim.
Well, it's one of the two, and it was fucking funny as fuck.
Yeah.
He's just being himself.
And I saw his God, he had some like documentary or something like that that was really impressive. I've heard him talk just about, you know, what he's gone through and what he's
It's so
what he's
difficult to
doing.
hear him talk.
It's pretty funny.
You gotta stick it out. It's like watching an episode of like one of the first Star Trek movies. You're like, man, this is hard to listen to, but I'm just gonna stick it out.
I don't know. I think
Because-
it's great. I love it. It's
I know,
inspirational.
he's hilarious. He's hilarious. He
It's
just
great to know
sounds-
somebody that sounds like that can knock out anybody. I could just fucking.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to fight him. Like I make fun of him at a distance. He doesn't know where I live. That's fine.
It's
But,
literally
I
like
wouldn't do
a
it
pit
to
bull.
his face.
He has like the temperament I feel like of Jimmy's old pit bull Bear, like the nicest fucking sweetest
Yeah,
dog
no,
until you fucking
Bulls
piss
are
it off and
all
then
the
just
best,
fucking
dude. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
piece of muscle.
bulls.
So what'd you do tonight?
Oh shit! I went to a baseball game. I went to my first Angels baseball game where they actually won.
Oh
No,
okay.
I've been to a bunch.
Oh yeah. Okay. That makes more
This is
sense.
the first one where they actually won. It was a shutout, and they only scored once. When there was a pickle at first, and this other dude stole home,
Good job, boy.
which is a good like. It was actually a pretty good like play overall. But I didn't even notice that the dude stole the base because I was watching the pickle between first and second. This is the extent of my baseball knowledge, by the way. But it was fun.
You're gonna
It
have to
was-
define
it was
pickle
good.
for me.
Pickle?
Yeah.
You don't know that?
Oh, that's where somebody tries to like steal a base, and then
And
let's
then the-
say the guy on first tries to steal second, right?
Yeah.
And the guy on second gets a hold of the ball,
Uh-huh.
and then the guy on first
Starts
starts
to go
running,
back.
Oh, okay.
has to run back to first, right? And then he has to get tagged out.
Yeah.
So until he gets physically touched with the ball or a glove with the ball, he's still in play.
Yeah.
So he can run and jump and backflip
Yeah.
over anybody to.
Yeah,
to-
I'm
to-
aware of that.
yeah.
You call
so
that
that's,
pickle?
That's a pickle.
That's
Oh,
you
okay.
never seen the Sandlot when they say pickle,
Dude, yeah.
and then you
Yeah,
got
I
Benny
don't-
the Jet Rodriguez going back and forth.
I've seen that movie a couple of times, but that term never stuck with me.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking
That's a
about.
pickle.
But okay.
That's a pickle.
You know, I just can't even remember the last baseball game that I went to where I remember who won or lost. Period. It's more like you go there to drink. And
I don't remember the last time I went to a baseball game and enjoyed any part of it.
Yeah,
The
I
most
feel you
fun
on
for me,
that
I
too.
think, is the people watching. I mean, I did spend a lot of time at this game playing the new Jurassic Park game, so I caught a Dilophosaurus, which was nice.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah.
like on your phone.
Yeah. So you remember Pokemon Go?
Oh,
Yeah,
I got
Which
some
is
after this.
still a thing, by the way.
Dude,
I saw a guy
they just,
in
did you
my
see what they just
store.
announced?
No.
They just announced that there's a Pokemon Go like Switch game,
Oh yeah, no, I heard about
and
that.
you can get your Pokemon from Pokemon Go and put them into the Switch game, and then like play through like the original game, but like new graphics and like actual like crazy shit going on.
Well, like the original game, like
It said it was like in the
Red and
Kanto
Blue
region,
original
like
game,
the red
like-
and blue, but like it's a
No
new
shit.
thing. I think with other new Pokemon in it, but it would
Man.
involve like Pokemon Go too. So you got to catch
Interesting.
Pokemon like that, and then you do it. Now a little bit too much of it on the Switch looked like you still catch Pokemon by throwing Pokeballs at them. So I thought that
Yeah.
was kind of dumb. I wanted to be like more, like I
Play
want to
the
be more in
game.
battles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I did see in the trailer they have battles.
Okay, I haven't seen the trailer yet. I just saw a list of like stuff that was getting released at E3 or possibly getting released, and that came up. I didn't know that it was Go related though, so that sounds rad.
I'm happy to talk about anybody else's leaks and releases. Nothing
I
from
don't
ours.
know any more about that.
Yes.
Anyway, so Jurassic Park. There's a Jurassic Park game that's kind of like Pokemon Go. You walk around or whatever, and you play the game, and you like control this little drone that shoots DNA extracting darts at different dinosaurs and stuff, and you level them up, and you can actually battle other dinosaurs.
Sounds like my early 20s.
I never, right? I never played Pokemon Go, but I've been playing this, and it's a lot of fun. And it's got dinosaurs instead of Pokemon, which
Dude, Pokemon Go, like, I was in on it, you know. I fucking got into that.
yeah, I remember you and like 9 other people running out of the house of a party one time because there was a Pikachu down the street.
It was a Charizard, how dare you.
Sorry, I would have gone for the Pikachu, but whatever.
We weren't in desert regions very often. We had to take advantage of the situation.
It's fair, yeah.
I remember at Comic-Con people were just coming through the gallery,
Dude,
just like to
Comic-Con
catch,
was
like
fucking
because
crazy.
they realized there was like a gym nearby or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck that meant.
Yeah.
There was a Pokemon gym.
Yeah, there's
like they
Pokemon gyms.
train those little motherfuckers to go lift weights or something.
Comic-Con, there was like rare Pokemon like every 5 feet, and everybody was
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
that makes
sprinting around back and forth doing that.
Yeah.
That year that it was out, holy shit, that was crazy. I spent a good chunk of that Comic-Con doing that
and
too.
then like 2 months later, like nobody played it at all.
Yeah. I'm shocked there are still people that like play
A lot
it.
of
Like,
people lost a lot of weight playing that
a
game for 2
surprising
months.
amount of people play it.
Really? They
No,
lost a lot
legit.
of weight.
Like, no, I saw some stories online of people losing like these are cats that like never leave the house, right? They've always got like a
They got
fucking
them out
either
exercising.
controller in their hand or fucking Cheetos and Red Bulls, like. But it got them out of the house. It got them some daylight. Got them some vitamin D. They went and met people in real life. Like it was rad. Like say what you want about it, but I thought that
And I
it
think
actually
that
did a lot
right
of good.
there is the
It
future
also
that
got
we're
a few
looking
people
at,
run over
you
by
know?
cars.
Yeah,
I'm a
walking on
Darwinist.
flips and
Fuck
shit.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree completely.
I'm sorry. If you are too dumb to not look up from your phone while you're crossing a street because there is a fucking Eevee at the end of the pier and you have to get there right fucking now and you get hit by a car, yeah.
So what about the people that
gonna
get
send
too
your ass to
fat
Pokemon
because
Center.
they can't get up off their asses without a video game?
They're probably not going to
Well,
breathe either.
that's
Like
why
I said, I'm a
The next
Darwinist.
thing down the pipeline is maybe it's not necessarily virtual reality, but it's augmented reality. You know,
Yeah.
that is going hand in hand with it. And I've seen some very impressive stuff, especially when I was at the Game Developers Conference just a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the AR technologies that they're working on and stuff like that are fucking insane. And I saw the whole like Google Maps API. They're opening it up and adapting it for gaming and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
So people
that's
can
what this is
develop
built on.
it.
That's
Westworld
what
soon.
that's what
Yeah, no, you're
ooh.
not too far off. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm caught up on the show right now. I don't know if I want to I don't want
Oh
to
no, I do not want to talk about it because it's fucking great right now. It's crazy, but I don't want to spoil anything for people who are like too far behind.
I
Right
love
on.
fucking AR though. Like I can just pop a Velociraptor right here in the room. It's rad.
Oh, that was Frankie. That's not a Velociraptor. But yeah, no, that shit is very cool. I'm excited for like what's gonna be coming up like somewhat soon. And lots of dope VR stuff. Oh shit! Look at this. There is a raptor on my coffee table, and that is very upsetting.
Yeah,
This is rad.
my coworker,
Somebody shoot it.
my gallery assistant actually did that in the gallery because we had Star Wars stuff in there with Yoda, like a Yoda,
yeah?
dope ass Yoda statue. So he had R2D2 fucking
Oh,
in the
sweet.
gallery, and he took a video of it, and it looked real as fuck, and it like moves around you and shit. Like it looks real. Like when
Yeah.
you have somebody moving around it and stuff, it's insane. Just this little program that comes on the new. Yours is an Android, right?
Yeah.
And,
So-
and we're just getting started.
I just
man.
got the S9.
There's some cool stuff coming up, and we got E3 next week, which I'm super fucking pumped about.
Yeah.
Gonna be out there. We can finally after that we'll finally be able to talk about
What's
cool
E3?
shit we got coming out. That is
what's
the
E3?
Electronic Entertainment Expo. That is the world premiere for every like video game. Like every big company kind of goes down there doing E3, and then they talk about the releases, and we kind of officially do rollouts and presentations and drop trailers, and just thousands and thousands and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, I think.
I wish I had time to come down and
Maybe.
like roll with you guys again. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, it was
a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for this year. We got a lot of really cool shit coming out. I'm just pumped. I love this time of year. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I'm gonna work.
No, it's better than Christmas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. No, it's like, I mean, every year it's like 12-hour days, like back to back to back to back to back to back to back. So
Yeah, but it's fun anyway. It's 12-hour days that if you had the free time,
It's
you'd
the
be
easy-
there anyway.
It's the easiest like 12-hour days I've ever had to work, because you're constantly just going and so excited. Like, some of the best stories of my life are from that show. So
The cool
Yeah,
thing
man,
I
I'm
like about
excited
it
for
too
next
is like you really have this opportunity to interact with the fans, the real for real people that like this shit, and
that's the coolest part.
kind
I
of
get to,
help
like,
them along and set the tone and
Yeah.
just be like, dude, have you checked out this fucking thing? Like, holy shit, you need to relax. I need to relax. We both need to relax, and then you need to go look at this thing and just appreciate it for what it, and just like really set the tone for it, you know?
I naturally get super excited about shit and about games, and even about the game. If I didn't work for them, I still get excited about those
Yeah,
games.
exactly.
So for
This
it
is
to be my
something you'd be
job to
doing
get other
anyway.
people excited about that shit, it's so easy.
Are you
man.
going to Comic-Con this year?
I'm not sure yet.
Because I hope not, because that's the weekend that I'm doing Kazulu.
Oh,
I
okay.
pretty much.
I'm not going.
Well, I don't. I doubt it, because we didn't have a presence the last couple of years, so, or much of one anyway. So I don't think so. It's not looking likely, but
I felt like I got what I wanted out of it the last couple of years.
I gotta straighten
You know,
this. I've been looking at this.
it is a lot of work, at least with what I was doing, having to run around and do all this extra shit. You know,
oh yeah, it's definitely a ton of work. But that's another one of those things where I just have so much fun there. I'll go and I'll go and I'll go until they make me go
I imagine
home.
that it's a lot different with like where you're actually involved and you've got games to play, rather than just like work and dealing with customers that like aren't playing video games. You know, they're like wanting to buy shit and they're like pissed off because they're tired and hungry and crowds, and
Yeah, it's like
they thought they were going to get an autograph and photograph with Stan Lee. That's why they waited in 4 hours of line. But you know, his handler said like no.
That's
After
rough.
5 minutes, and like 90% of the people didn't get to see him.
Nah,
And then you have to be the one to explain to these
Yeah,
fucking
that's,
people.
that's pretty rough.
like,
That's
what the
pretty
fuck
rough.
happened?
I've been down
You ever
there.
seen a nerd riot?
A nerd riot?
Yeah, that sounds like that's what would happen.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Just a fucking nerd riot. It'll be like that scene
I
from
can
like
kind of. It'll be like that
World War
Szechuan
Z,
sauce.
where like all the zombies are coming over the wall, and it's just it's just nerds with like a bunch of like weird hats and like really bad cosplay and sacks full of merch. And
The problem though is that like the
swag.
nerds.
the tantrums that get thrown.
Yeah.
It's not like back in the day, like the type of stereotype for nerds where they're like young and they're still in their adolescence and you could just like brush them off. Like now they're like grown ass women and
They're
men that like
adults.
they're adults that are
And they weigh
angry and pissed
200
off,
pounds.
and they write bad Yelp reviews and they like fucking like they fucking go and complain about you, and like it sucks.
I'm
No, he's not.
95% sure that I'm leaving California.
95% sure.
I don't know where exactly. The industry, the aircraft mechanic field is starving for qualified people. I met with a guy not too long ago, and I hadn't even sat down. It wasn't even a formal interview. Like I just went in to talk to the guy about what the industry was like and whatever, and just really, you know, he used to be a neighbor of ours, and I just wanted to go see what it was. You know, it was really more of a fact-finding mission on my end than anything else. And before I'd even sat down, this guy asked me if I wanted an application.
So this wasn't something that carried over from the Marines for you then?
Well, it kind of was. So I got out of the military, where I started working on airplanes in Japan. And then I did 3 years of doing embassy security. And then I got out. And then I did private security for a couple of years and realized I hate doing security. I'm really good at it, but I just don't like that field. That, you know, you're constantly, it's really stressful, and you're constantly keyed up. You're always on call. that kind of
You
a
have
thing.
to deal with it's like you have situations where it could be as trying as like a cop having to make a decision for something, but like you don't have the authority necessarily, or
I feel like that job's even way harder than a cop.
yeah, like you're responsible for so much more than what you're getting paid for. And
I mean, in a way, like.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I don't want to.
I felt well, no, and not to belittle police or anything, but you have a whole police force behind you, and if some situation were to get to a head where you had to make a really serious decision that involves somebody's life, then I can't imagine what kind of a shit show that would be.
Right, because most of the time you see some security people and you'll see like all right, that guy's just like literally just taking a job. He doesn't have to do anything.
Well, no,
and
no.
Some
and,
people
and,
have
and,
to do some shit. Like
no, and to be perfectly clear, like I wasn't a bouncer. I was a bodyguard. I wore a bulletproof vest and I carried a gun. And I protected some very high profile clients that actually did, based on their past and based on their history and based on a lot of things, really did require that level of protection.
Yeah.
And I worked for the premier executive protection agency in the country, if not the world. Like, I wasn't a bouncer.
Much different than like the guy that's cruising around in the little security car.
Yeah, it wasn't
like
not quite that.
I wasn't Allied
Much more
Universal. I wasn't, no. I was
those guys that scare
really,
the
really
shit out of
high-end.
you in their fucking cars at night when they're riding behind you,
Yeah.
and you're like, fuck, why is this cop tailing me? And then
Yeah.
they pass you on the freeway, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's just a fucking...
Ain't no Paul Blart.
That's
no.
That's just a guy trying to go like...
Anyway,
in his car.
yeah. So I'm really good at it, and I did a good job, and I learned a lot, and I'm really glad that I have that education. It gives me a lot of confidence just walking around in my day-to-day life, but I realized that I don't want to live my life like that. So I left that job, and then I went and I took a job in Orange County, in Irvine, doing some retail or real estate stuff. Did that for a couple of years, and then after they fired me, laid me off, I was like, well, why don't I go back to school? I can either try to get another job that's going to pay me $50,000-$60,000 a year, or I can go to school and get some skills under my belt and do something that I really like. So I went to culinary school. And Orange Coast College has one of the best culinary programs in the country. They have a competitive culinary team. I didn't know that was a thing. Mm-hmm. And they compete around the country. And at one point in time, they were like second in the nation, which was a program. So I was doing that, and that was fun. I learned a lot. But I realized the program was producing professional chefs and restaurateurs, neither of which I wanted to be.
It's a pirate's life for me.
So why did you get into it?
The culinary school?
Yeah.
Well, because I love to cook.
But you didn't have any like idea, or you didn't really want to get into like a career with it, though.
Well, I didn't know that I didn't want a career in it.
Okay.
And I didn't necessarily want a career in it at the time. It was just like, well, let's go to school. I love to cook.
Okay.
Right. I at that point I had tried business. I tried environmental science. I tried oceanographer. I tried marine biologist. I tried
Stripping.
I almost did try stripping, but you got to take a trip in the way back for that one. But in school I tried a bunch of things, and my problem is that I am so interested in so many things, but not enough in any one thing.
Dude, you're like me.
To be like, that's the fucking thing. Like I envy people that are just like, no, I know that this is what I have to do with my life.
Or from like a young age, like they figured it out before they graduated high school.
Fucking
like they already went
assholes.
to. They already were
Assholes.
going. But I mean, like, how often does that actually play out
It
to where
doesn't.
it isn't,
And-
or to where they stay happy? You know, they're not fooling
and it
themselves.
probably doesn't. And it
Right.
probably doesn't, right? So I went to culinary school because I wanted to learn how to cook better or whatever. And I realized I didn't want to be a professional chef. I was like, well, fuck, what do I want to do now? And I started thinking about my life and all of the wide variety of things that I've done.
Right.
And what I enjoyed doing most. And I came to the realization that while a lot of people are told throughout your life, find something you love and figure out how to make money doing it, and you'll never work a day in your life, right?
everybody's heard that. You know, or find the thing that you love and do that, and that's it. That's what you should do. I'm not that kind of person. I was like, well, really, I just need to find something that I don't hate doing, something that I'm reasonably decent at, and something that will afford me the opportunity, both monetarily and time-wise, to do the things that I'm passionate about, and I can be happy. I can grind out something that doesn't make me sick to my stomach, that gives me enough free time and enough money to do the stuff that I am passionate about. And I think in me, that can create a balance.
Yeah.
You know, so I can work, in this case, on airplanes, and for 4 or 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, and I could have 2 to 3 days off every week, and to do what I want.
Right.
To do woodworking projects, to do jewelry projects, to fucking travel, to do whatever. And when I started thinking about it that way, I realized that the aircraft thing kind of slid into place, because I was already going to Orange Coast College at the time, and they have a pretty damn decent aircraft maintenance technician program, AMT program, that has a long history in the industry, and all throughout Southern California, people know these guys. And it was right there. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to go somewhere else. I didn't have to transfer schools. I didn't have to move for school or anything. It was right there. And I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. Worst
It's like
case
a
scenario.
90s sitcom, you know?
Yeah, but so
The nerdy guys.
Is
on
there
Instagram.
now
Yeah.
at this point though? You know, because it sounds like it's still something that's relatively new for you. You know,
No, I'm, and this is the interesting part for me,
I think
right?
you're kind of coming back
Based on
into
my
it.
personality and all of the things that I've tried, all the false starts that I've had, all the things that I've like plowed into gung ho and just fizzled out and died. I'm 2.5 years into this program.
Uh-huh.
I have 1 class left, and then I'm going to go take my test with the FAA, and I'm going to get my license.
But do you not? What my thing was, I was going to ask is there no way for you to advance to a point where it's even beyond just doing? You know, like you can get to a point where like you really are enjoying the fuck out of what you do, because you have even more of a role than what you're like. What you have right now is just like the worker. You know, you can like create, and you can get more creative in your field.
So there's 2 parts to that. I think there's 2 parts to that. First of all, I don't want to be an engineer. At this point in my life, I have no interest in being the guy that invents new aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be a mech.
Okay.
I just want to turn wrenches. That's my happy place,
Mm-hmm.
right? I really like the idea of not being able to bring my work home.
Dude, I relate to that so much. Go on, sorry.
Right.
I'll get back to that.
And I don't want to be on call. I don't want to be in traffic driving home from work, crunching numbers and thinking about algorithms and trigonometry in my head. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to go to work. I'm going to clock in. I want to turn wrenches. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to clock out. I'm going to go home.
Right.
Right. So that when I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah.
Because there's no fucking need for me to bother my mind at all with, fucking struts or avionics or anything.
As the over-exasperated sides of the both of us think, oh yeah, fuck, that's what people are supposed to do. Yeah,
No.
we both are
Because I've done it.
victims of,
Because
like-
I've been in your
Oh,
shoes.
yeah,
Because I've
absolutely.
lived it. Because I've been on call 24 hours a day for months at a time, doing security and other stuff. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't really want to be an engineer. That's another level of maintenance. That's another level of thinking. That's much, much, much more math and physics and stuff. And I can make over $100,000 a year just getting my hands dirty. Like that's fine.
just turning wrenches, as you say.
And as far as the satisfaction of my work, right? I think that everybody can appreciate the process and the satisfaction and the sense of accomplishment of showing up and having parts and tools and a manual and
Who's Emmanuel? Sorry.
God damn it.
Guinness Emmanuel.
Derailed me. And a manual,
Oh.
or a series of manuals, and taking all of those elements and putting them together and creating a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like working on the fucking Death Star version, the Lego Death Star every day.
Well, you serve a purpose.
What's that?
You are serving a purpose, like as a function to society by doing those things, because regardless, you know, there are different people, I feel like, and it's not to say it in a grandiose type of way, once again, where, you know, some people are meant to be better than other people, because I don't believe that there's any sort of role that's necessarily better than the others. But what's up?
I was, but
Continue. What I'm saying is, like, so for my father, for instance, and I compared you to him earlier because it seems like it's more of like that, you know, you guys have more of that, the know-how, the resourceful guy to go do these things where people ask you to do it, but then, you know, they have a different skill set. And so in every job, you know, there needs to be the muscle that does this and that. And it's not to say it's any greater or any less. It's just that's part of the function. And that you're kind of realizing that your function is to do something like that. Like, that's what my dad always told me. He's like, you're not going to love every single thing that you fall into, but you can learn how to do something and do it well, and, you know, and get by doing that. And for me, it was always hard to like do that because I've realized on my own that I can't work for anybody else. I have to kind of, because I have too many of these crazy ideas that are just going off all the time. But I got into what I'm doing right now from a job where I was doing more of a physical thing. And I had all these ideas for my creativity that I wanted to like work on them. Then I was like, okay, well, you know, you're good at this, and you know this and that. Would you want to work in the gallery now? Okay. So I do that thinking, you know, it's great. And I talk to people, and I use part of like what I'm gifted at is talking to people and getting them, you know, passionate about the art because I'm passionate about the art. Yeah. But I'm starting to realize that sitting around behind a desk and doing this one thing that to so many people seems like a lucrative opportunity, you know, trying to sell and make money by doing that. You leave me to my own devices behind a computer. I'm thinking about what I want to do. Yeah. I'm not thinking about hitting these people up and twisting their arm to buy art. I'd rather go back to the job where I'm like doing a function, you know, like that they tell me like, okay, go here, deliver this here, pick this up, take this back here. Because then I could still, in my mind, think about all the things that I want to do and then go home and do them. You know,
yeah,
like what
see,
you're saying.
so that's kind of where I'm at, right? Where I just like...
I get it, yeah.
I used to say, when I was referring to our community, right? I used to say things like, I'm not an artist.
You mean us Mexicans?
Huh?
You mean us Mexicans?
Yeah. No, and for sure, I'm still not the whitest person in this room.
You probably know more Spanish than I do.
I definitely don't.
Oh, really? Okay, well then...
that'd be unlikely.
Go ahead, think about it.
I know more Japanese, Arabic, and German than you do.
Did you know what a chismosa was?
I looked it up after your first post like months ago.
So we totally fucking. It was funny because we were with the Demers. Sorry, sidetrack. We were hiking, and then they were like saying, "Oh yeah, we heard somebody say it at like the library or something like that." And like we looked it up and we found out what it meant. Like I was like, "Yeah, no, it was a real word. I wasn't just making up a word." Now today's next word of the Spanish slang term of the day is "sconca," and that refers to a nasty, scandalous slut. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh."
Could you just like on your Facebook like
Mexican word of the day?
Yeah, well, no, I used to think it'd be a fun thing to do to like do this total sidebar. Then I'll go back to what I was talking about, but like an SAT prep word of the day, and then just post that with the definition and then an example, and be like, okay, kids, now go out and use this word in the real life. And then later, you know, post about how you actually use that word. I thought that'd be fun. You should do that with like Mexican slang words.
But then, see, here's the funny thing is I'm like the worst person to do that too, because I would get so much shit. Here's this true story from junior high. Okay, I remember these kids were like saying shit like they were saying stuff, and they said "tú no sabes," and I was like, "What is he saying? What is he saying?" Because people were laughing, and because somebody said that to me.
Yeah.
And they were just laughing. They're like,
tuna is not a base.
They're like, you're like, you don't even know.
Tuna.
I'm like, no, I know I don't know. So what were they saying? Like, you don't even know, fool. And I was like, no, I know I don't know. What were they saying? And then somebody, so it took after a long time for somebody to be like, no, wait, listen to this. because they're saying "tú no sabes" means you don't know in Spanish. But I was just like,
Oh,
what do they mean?
so
Thinking they're
you
making fun
didn't
of me,
know
and
that
they're
he was saying you don't
but they're
know?
like, you don't know, fool.
Dude,
Like,
what does
you don't
mine
know?
say?
Yeah, exactly. It was a literal it was literally like that. It was so funny and embarrassing at the same
Oh,
time.
no, now
'cause
that
they were
is
just
funny.
Like, this is
Yeah.
funny. I'm like, I know. What are they saying?
Means, dude, you don't even know.
You don't even know, fool.
So as I was like traveling the world, and I've been a few different places, but spent a year and a half in Japan, a little over a year in Germany, a little over a year in Latvia. I was in Syria for a while, and the first thing that I tried to learn in those languages, besides
Elvish.
yes, no, thank you, Elvish.
And
Besides yes, no, and thank you was how do you say?
¿Cómo se dice?
So in Spanish, yeah. So
¿Cómo
in
se
Spanish,
dice? Pinche
Yeah.
cabrón.
well, no, and it was red. It was red. Like ¿cómo se dice? Like this, right? So I'd learn that phrase in
Every language.
each language,
Right.
Right. So I'd be like, how do you say phone?
Which
how do you
is what
say
in,
beer? How do you say
Arabic.
car? How do you? Oh, I fucking don't even remember anymore. But it was a really fun thing. It's such a great icebreaker meeting.
Because when you want to learn something, people want to teach. If
Yeah.
you act like you know something or you're not willing to do it, that's when they hate you. But if you go to a Spanish person and you're a white guy straight up and you're like, "Como si they say this?" They'll have fun with it and they'll teach you. They want you to know because
Yeah.
you want to know what
like here in the
language
U.S.
is.
maybe not, but like if I went to fucking to Mexico City or to Cabo or something, right? And I was just like, no, for real, like como se dice, like this thing, like how do I, how do we? Let's learn how to communicate with each other, right? They would react completely differently, and then everywhere I went, that was one of the first things that I learned. So I learned some pleasantries: the yes, please, thank you, no, thank you. Can I have another beer? Where's the bathroom? Donde está la biblioteca? Like the whole fucking thing, right?
Where's
And
the
then-
library? How often did you use that since you're
Oh no, not ever. Actually, what was really funny. So I was
Why did you go back to the
doing.
library. I don't know what you're laughing about, man. That's a wonderful place.
Yeah,
I know, that's-
it's like
You
what
should
kind
know
of
what the library
education
is.
you can get with like $7.15 a late fees at the public library. Just like you don't need to go to college.
that you can't get YouTube or Google.
Right. So
It's actually pretty. No, I actually will make a case. Like, I'm not gonna do it right now, but I will make a case. The library actually is a pretty dope place.
Well,
still.
yeah, because
Like,
of everything that
for-
goes with it, though. It's an experience. Like it's like going to watch a movie in the movie theater. Like you're getting something out of it. Like you go to a movie, you go to a library.
But it's not the. If you've been to if you haven't been to the library in the last 10 years, like it's not the same library. Like it's updated, it's modern, it's like actual like resources and stuff like that
not
you would
the
need.
kind
oh yeah,
library.
Yeah.
kids, if you're hearing this, go to the library.
Yeah, no, I'm impressed by the library.
Yeah, get yourself a library card. But no, so so one of the things when I, not when I was in Japan, but when I was in Germany, Latvia, and Syria, I worked for the embassies, right? And I was we were called Marine Security Guards. We were the last line of defense in case anything happened at the embassy or on the embassy grounds. So they got fucking invaded or whatever. We were there. And part of our job was to learn these mission essential phrases, right? So things like, get on the ground, put your hands up, please walk through the metal detector, let me see your passport.
Lift your sack and spread them.
So what?
Lift your sack and spread them.
God damn it. So,
I don't know why you stop for me every time.
do
It's never anything
you
obsessive.
do you have any weapons? You know, that kind of a thing. And it was a list, and I don't remember hardly any of them anymore, but it was a list of probably 30 phrases that we had to learn, and we had to know possible responses for in every country, in every language. So German, Latvian, and Arabic, right? And we had language classes either once a week or once every 2 weeks where the instructor would come in and they would drill us on those phrases, and then they would teach us other things. You know, it wasn't just like, do you have any weapons? Do you? You know, it wasn't just that. It was a whole bunch of other stuff. But it was real fun to go out into the community, like go to a bar or something and meet a girl at a bar in Germany, for example. And I'm tall, white. I had short hair at the time, blue eyes. Like I passed for a German until I opened my mouth. Right. As soon as I open my mouth, everybody in the bar knows
So
I'm
you
American.
walk up like, hey, Monfrolo. Do you know where the library is?
Do you know where that? And you're talking to a girl, a German girl, and she's like, "Oh, do you speak any of the language?" And you're like, "Yeah, no, I totally, definitely speak some of the language." She'll be like, "Oh, really? What do you speak? Like, say something, like we do." Oddly enough, to like anybody that comes here, it's like, "Oh, say something in your language, your fucking weird language." They do the same thing to us, which is actually kind of funny.
Really?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah. Well, like, not so much like we're like, say something in Turkish, right? Say something in your weird language, and then we laugh about it.
I always feel so embarrassed.
We go to their country, and they're like, say something in my language.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a little bit different, but it's also kind
I
of the
never
same.
experienced that. Maybe because I was too afraid. Because like I'm definitely like.
Well, I always led with like, yeah, I do speak a little.
like as Americans, it's kind of like I want to, you know, in one way, like slap the fuck out of us for not being.
Oh,
the
I
way
say that
they-
to anybody from the Midwest or Canada.
Like they.
You've been a few places. You should read a book called The Ugly American. It's a good book,
Right.
and it
I'm just
really,
saying and compared to them, like as far as like understanding different cultures and like their languages, like we
Yeah.
do not give it enough attention to the way that they like. You know, you can go in almost anywhere else other than like in Spain, where in like deep Spain, not like Barcelona or fucking, you know, like if you go to Madrid, they're just like, no, we don't speak English, and you know, you go to like parts
Oh
of
no,
France, there's-
Japan was like that.
yeah.
They told us from the get. They're like, look, everybody speaks English.
What?
Don't fucking like every old woman, every single person on this island speaks English.
Right, and in most
so don't
places
be
they-
running around talking shit, thinking like nobody knows what you're talking about.
No.
Everybody
That's
does.
not what I'm saying. I'm saying like it sucks because like you know they come here and like people like there'll be people from France, for instance, that'll come here, right? And
Yeah.
and they'll try their hardest to speak English
Mm-hmm.
with what they know, which is a bunch more than we fucking know of French. That's for sure.
Sure, yeah.
And the second that they can't comprehend or they can't fucking speak to us or communicate with us, an American will be like, oh, those fucking French, they're a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
Aren't they a bunch of assholes? It's like, or you go to France and then you get an American that goes over there demanding fucking something in English, but they're not willing to talk to you or speak to you in English. Oh, they're just a bunch of fucking assholes.
Well,
But
to-
Americans are assholes,
to,
man.
to be fair though, on the asshole scale, and I've never been to France, disclaimer, and I've heard from a few people, not all of them that I trust, that like on the asshole scale, like the French and the Americans are kind of on the same.
That's what I'm saying,
No,
though.
I-
We're all people.
yeah,
and it's,
that's what it is we're all fucking
we're
the
all
same.
fucking
We're all the
people.
same.
But I will say that I was still embarrassed that, like, at the fact that, like, even the ones that were French that, like, that didn't want to, because that's a whole other thing. If they don't want to do it for, you know, to make a point, because they're not trying to let everybody come in there and just fucking do it. I felt like they still knew it better than I did, which, you know, like the idea that like it's never even like crossed my mind to like feel that it was necessary or that it was like something that we should just want to do. Like, you know, like you should be curious. Like there's this
should.
whole other language out there that these people speak, and if you were to ever have to communicate, like it literally is like a whole other world, you know? Like language is so essential to
But it's a trip because it's the same, though. I walk
It-
through
it
Paris and
is
it
the
could
same.
be. It almost at times feels like it could be like, oh, these are just people. Like a lot of this feels the same. I see a lot of the same stores. I feel like I'm walking through L.A.
no,
San
man.
Francisco,
Like,
but
it makes me feel a
nobody's-
little
No,
bit
no.
different.
What was always the same for me, walking through markets and malls and department stores and grocery stores and stuff, wherever I was, the din of just like the general noise of people
Oh.
walking and talking
Yes,
Yeah.
I know what you.
was always the same.
Yeah, well,
It's like I didn't necessarily like walking through streets down here. I hear things and I pick up on things because I know the language. But when you're, let's say, talking with someone in your group and you're having a conversation, the noise around you you're not paying attention to. For me, it was always the same.
yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I
Yeah.
came back from the first time I ever went to Paris. One of the trippiest things. As soon as I got back, it took me like 2 days for conversations. Exactly what you're talking about. Conversations that I was like walking by, wasn't necessarily hearing. they all sounded like they were in French. Even when I got back here,
To realize you can understand them.
None of them were, but everything sounded like French.
And I could see that. I could definitely see that it would be in that way completely relative. Like you can draw the similarities from every language in the way that humans interact with each other in similar settings, for sure, most definitely. But it goes along with the idea I'm talking about. It's like, you know, even in Spanish, you know, which is probably the thing that we deal with the most here, where we can, you know, like that they're you know, among us the most, where it's like people can kind of understand that one or both of them. There's still certain words that you can't completely translate, and ideas that you can't completely translate into the other language.
Sure,
and so
like
that
Eskimos
alone,
got like 11 words for snow.
right. And so, but that alone, you know, and you know, the idea that you're taught at a young age too here, that like that English is actually the hardest language to teach and learn because of all of the things, and we're just so used to it. So that's what I'm saying though, is like, even though we all as humans have similar, you know, similar basic needs, we have similar basic functions, we all, you know, communicate about the same things, there is just a weird gap that's always going to separate slightly, you know, everything. I don't know.
Well, okay, and that's it's
because it's the whole of the world that exists. You know, like lots of them.
I kind of know what you're talking about. You take, for example, you know, in English, you have 26 letter alphabet, right? In German, you have all the same 26 letters with some special characters and letters, and I can't remember how many total there are. In Latvian, you have 37 letters in their alphabet. And then I drop down to Arabic. They only have 18 letters in their alphabet, right? But to kind of talk about what you're talking about, the difference is a cultural language difference. It's not an emotional difference, because we are all the same, because we all think about the same things, and we all love the same things. We all want the same things. We all need the same things. We need, you know, if you look at fucking Pavlov's hierarchy of needs, it's not different for somebody from fucking New Zealand than it is for me here, right? I've got access to more of the things that I need to fulfill that pyramid than maybe somebody from fucking Sudan, right? But also maybe I don't, right? Because I'm cluttering what I think should be in that fucking pyramid with all this fucking bullshit, right? And then you've got the Amish people in like the northern United States.
It's a great point.
That are crushing Pavlov's hierarchy of needs with no power.
Don't write in. We know it's Maslow's.
Oh God, it is Malice. sorry, Paz. Sorry.
I was almost the first one going. The second one, I was like, okay, I feel like somebody's going to lose their mind. If
I usually get that one right. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well, you
Pavlov,
know,
Maslow. Right. So like that hierarchy, like we all have the same basic everything, right? And the only differences between us really are some cultural things and a language barrier that can totally be overcome. And if we can learn how to appreciate our cultural differences and understand our communication differences, then we can become citizens of the earth.
Right.
And I think as long as, especially this country, like, you know, refuses, like goes kicking and screaming into the whole, like, no, like this is America, we speak English, like, no, like actually get some culture, because we're the only country that thinks like that.
There's a joke, right? If you speak 3 languages, you're trilingual. If you speak 2 languages, you're bilingual. If you speak 1 language, you're American.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Yep. I was at school a few months ago, and there was this lady sitting next to me, just a little over that way, and these 3 girls walked by, and they were speaking their native language, some Asian language I don't understand. And they were all walking by, having a conversation, minding their own business. And this lady sitting over next to me was just like, "Hey, we're in America. Speak English." And I was just like, "You're such a fuck." And I told her, I was like, "Hey, that was really fucked up."
I hope she gets hit by a bus.
Well, I told her, I was like, "Hey, that's really fucked up." And she goes, "I know, right?" And I was like, "No, you're fucked up. That's so fucking rude. You're such an asshole." Yeah. Like,
But you know what? I truly feel though that is dying, and I do, and I mean I can prove that it is, even though it may not be as fast as what we want. But this is why I promote the idea of creating things in the positive light, rather than fighting them, because those people don't respond in a way to like saying, "Oh, what you're doing is wrong," as much as it is the youth. Because look how much hip hop has changed all of that in the South, in the North, everywhere where there was racism so much more heavily, where now you've got like a whole generation or generations of kids, over the last 30 years that have completely gone from thinking in that way to a different way because they were turned on to something brand new and fresh that they could relate to from a young age. Something that they identified with, something that completely brought them together with another culture.
Well, that's the thing, is that you can't be racist if you've always known people from other like races.
But that's what I'm saying. Some of these people didn't though. Like,
I'm saying
the
that's
music.
the beauty.
It's the music that brought it together.
The culture,
and art,
becoming
it's
American culture.
It's something they can connect
but
to.
the really interesting thing is you still have kids in Montana that have never seen a black person.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right.
In their entire lives. And on the one hand...
But people are moving places. Black people are moving.
No, for
Mexicans
sure.
are moving. Asians are moving. And so that's just...
But
it's taking time, but we're getting there.
We're not as far as I would have hoped, because there's a lot more shit, especially lately. Since 2016, seeing this many this many videos of people just being like, "What?" Like the racist lawyer guy. Just screaming at people, screaming at employees at Starbucks because they were speaking Spanish. Telling them he's going to call ICE and
or the fucking the CHP guy on the northern border of this country arresting two women because they were speaking Spanish.
And of course,
you think they didn't make it that fucking far without being allowed to be here? Are you shitting me?
And of course, that is terrible. Of course. But the fact that we're talking about it right now and saying that it's terrible is a lot different than what it was 30 years ago too. And I'm not saying we're resting there ever. No, of course not. Yeah. We're going. Yeah. So it's about, pushing on, but also appreciating at the same time that we are changing, and because that appreciation will let us know that we're going to continue to change. And this is that uphill battle that we're going to probably keep on doing, keep on going, but we have to keep going and we can't stop.
We got to vote. We got to send those messages.
Exactly. You got to keep going and do it.
Our generation is on the cusp of you have these periods in history where things change and get better, and then they stay the same for a while, and then something happens maybe in the middle or towards the end of there, and then things change and they get better and they stay the same for a while. I think what we need to kind of try to do is we have this opportunity where the three of us and our friends and the people that think like us can be okay guys, we need a better future. Here's what we think the better future is. Let's make the better future. And then 40 years from now, we got what we think the better future might be, and then we just quit and we're just let's just stick this shit out. That's not the way that and that's what
we're too far deep in,
and that's what has happened. If you look back through history, people were just guys, we got it, we're good, okay, cool, don't change anything.
The human condition.
It was the people that the Puritans that fucking came to this country from the get. They had an idea.
You can pinpoint it in all these different areas, though.
They had an idea of what they wanted their world to be, right? And they couldn't get it where they were, so they did this really amazing, super hard, super difficult thing. They picked up all that they knew and they transplanted it in the U.S. And they shit on a bunch of Native Americans to make it happen, but they did this thing where just they picked up their entire way of life and they transplanted it, and that was kind of rad. That was really big. It was a huge deal, right? They're a bunch of fucking,
which wasn't that
Puritan,
long ago, relatively,
prudish assholes, and it really wasn't that long ago. It was 300 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But they did that thing, and that was kind of cool, right? Yeah. But then they reestablished themselves as this rock and the stone, and they wrote all their fucking rules down, and what they failed at was evolution, and that's what they were running from, was the evolution of culture.
Well, isn't that humanity in general, though? Anybody who has to have a fundamental guide or rule or anything that they try to create that's going to be set in stone, isn't the quote from Rick and Morty where he's like, oh yeah, traditional, or what is he saying, scientifically, traditions are an idiot thing.
Yeah, something that
Something
extent,
similar.
yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
Scientifically, traditions are an idiot thing. And it's like, not saying that traditions are bad, but it's the idea that we should accept that they're going to have to change. So don't get too caught up or too hung up on trying to, sustain this.
I actually wrote a paper for a college class that I took a long time ago. The paper was basically about the fact that doing things the way that they've always been done, just because that's the way they've been done, is the stupidest fucking reason for doing
I agree.
that thing.
That's my whole life is based around that. I question
It's-
everything
it's-
because of that.
It's the worst reason. It's like, oh well, that's the way it's always been done. And it was like, well, okay, well, isn't there maybe a better way? So I think that every tradition, every law, every process, every person, every personal choice, the way you fucking brush your teeth, like everything should be reevaluated, if not on a continual basis, then on a fairly regular basis, whereby you determine whether or not the way that you've been doing things is still the best way to do it based on current technology and materials and processes and science and so on. And if at the end of that that reevaluation, you determine that yes, this is actually still good, it's still good, then leave it alone. But if after that you realize, maybe we can, tweak some things in here and change this and that and the other and make it better, then you should absolutely make it better,
Right.
regardless of tradition, because you just literally, dude, just focus on your past and think about the way things were, just your own personal past. And that's maybe something that we can use to help people realize that sticking it out fucking for the win is not the way to go, because my past sucks massive donkey balls. It was bad. And there are definitely things that could have been done better. If I was trying to do things the same way that I was taught or mistaught or ill-taught or not taught, I wouldn't be here with you guys. Like, my life would suck, and a lot of people around me, their lives would suck, So you gotta look at that, and you gotta just move forward.
One of the things I've been saying recently is that, we all stand on the shoulders of giants, but those giants didn't grow to be as large as they are by doing exactly what's always been done. And I truly think that, that's the balance of, and a part of the cycle, which is what we were talking about. Certain people were meant to go into a certain way to be able to sustain something enough to get those new people or those other people to serve the function where those other people that may have an innovative idea, but it's all part of one function.
So a really great microcosm example I have of that is the Marine Corps, right? In the Marine Corps, a lot of the newer guys my age, whatever, talked about how the old Corps was the best Corps, old Corps this, that, the other. And if you talk to old Corps guys from back in the day, they're like, you're way better, you're way smarter, you're way faster, you're way better equipped, you're way more educated. If you were there when we were there, you would have just mopped up the floor. You would have been the best thing that ever was. And the military, in a lot of ways, for American culture, if not for world culture, kind of serves as a microcosm, because it has to stay on the cutting edge of everything all the time. It's a really good example of, never mind the politics of it or whatever, but if you look at the way that it evolves, black people joining, women joining, gays being allowed in, that sort of a thing, all happened in the military before it became socially acceptable.
True.
If you look at those types of things in the military, it's kind of a great case study, really, of where we're at. And when the old Corps guys, and I know dudes from World War II and from Vietnam and from so on and so on and so on, they're like, no, you're the best. You're the fucking best. We're not better or greater or stronger because we fought in the fucking snow and we dealt with it. No, you're the best because of all the technology and the learning and the training and the so on and so forth.
That all stands to reason,
And
in a few generations, you'll be saying that about the next group.
Exactly.
As we go to war with Luxembourg.
Well, that's also why this is, the greatest thing to wrap up on is that what you're saying. Like, we are in the best place.
We're the best we've ever been.
We are the best we've ever been. We are in the best place. People that, talk about stuff romantically about, like, I wish I was born in this era or that era. That's whatever. If you feel that way, you feel that way. But
if
honestly,
you like that, go listen to swing music. And
but what we're saying is, like, we all know that this is the era that, because you can go and appreciate all those things from back then and probably know things that they didn't even know back then in their own time, and we can still do what we want to do in any way, and we can, like, the amount that we could travel, share, live, love, all of that. Like, we are in the time that we need to be, and everybody needs to be present,
and we need to evolve.
Fully acknowledging we didn't get here on our own.
No.
And thank you to everybody who came before.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Sure. Like absolutely. I said, we all stand on the shoulders of giants. Yeah. But those giants did not fucking grow to be as large as they were by doing exactly what other people did before them. So we all have to continually, it's this back and forth thing. You think you're going to get to the end of it. Once you think that that you're on that path, you better get rid of that shit, because that's not going to serve you. I have no doubt, wherever you go, because you don't know where you're going to go, but wherever you go, you are basically going to be an ambassador for the ideas that we express on the show all the time.
I fucking hope so.
For the things that you've learned from just being part of the community that we talk about over and over and over again. And I'm excited, and I'm, like, sad that you're going to be leaving, but I know that no matter what, you're always going to be my brother, and you're always going to be there. And if I could hit you up and you hit me up wherever, like, we talked about it a billion times. This family, this community, everything that's going on, like, there is a sincere thing, unlike anything we've ever experienced before. It is as real as any, blood family that you can have.
Absolutely.
And we, have each other's backs, because we are a part of the evolution of mankind in the way of consciousness evolving and accepting and learning and loving and spreading this wisdom, because we know that this is what we've seen enough bullshit. We've experienced it through art, all the movies. We've learned about all of the other things. People think we're the dumb generation, but we're not. We've learned through stuff that seems, traditionally speaking, not effective or whatever. But, hey, if we're learning how things are fucking shitty through mobster movies and this and that.
Well, I think the big thing is that we're actually communicating. They used to be, you didn't know what was going on in the next town over. You didn't know what was going on in the next city over. People would vote for president, but you didn't know what the president was about unless he showed up in your hometown.
You couldn't tell that it was corrupt.
And stood on a
you
fucking
didn't have
soapbox,
WikiLeaks,
right?
You didn't have
WikiLeaks. You didn't have
is WikiLeaks
access.
even still a thing?
It is. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that's how fast we are emerging, and the
but
idea that from now till in the next 10 years we're going to advance more than we did from 1859 till now technologically.
Yeah.
So we're
there was you had the information age. The information age has passed. I think we are in the knowledge age, right? You get to this point where I have access to the entire sum of human knowledge in my phone at all times, in my pocket right now, within arm's reach. I can look up anything I want and
get it right. Get an answer for the most obscure questions.
And what I like about you and Phil and our community is that we are now starting to work through all that information, starting to filter out that knowledge.
We're explorers.
Find out what's important. And you talked about, like, that there's no more frontier, and that's absolutely,
we're explorers.
Yeah,
we're exploring a new frontier in thought, in mind. Like I said, the revolution, if there is going to be a revolution, it's going to happen through our thoughts and the way we discuss and the way that we interact with people. It's not through basic simple principles anymore. Like, we have to really, like, re-examine the way we think and make people think differently about it.
And something I thought of at the very beginning when we talked about that earlier was that we are pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible for human consciousness
in every form.
In
physical,
every form,
in mental,
in physical, in mental, in
health, everything,
in health, in life, in travel, in love, in life expectancy. Like, people thought that they that there were boundaries, that the glass could be half full. And I'm going to end it all with this. There's no fucking boundary. The capacity of the human mind for knowledge and empathy and love is boundless. And the more we think about, the more we do, the more we interact with, the more humans we understand, the more babies we have, the more pets we have, the more we create and experience, the more we're starting to understand that there's no boundary to any of that. Like, I've never once thought to myself, like, I'm going to have to fucking delete files from this old part of my brain and learn new shit so that I to, like, make room. It's not a fucking hard drive. It's not a hard drive.
Okay, well, that's for a whole other thing.
Yeah, wanting to, maybe for good reason, maybe that's one thing. But, like, you've never had to physically sit back and think to yourself, I need to stop liking these people because these new people are in my life and they're more interesting and they fulfill me more.
Sure. That's a good point. You don't have to do that. Absolutely.
The human mind, we have not even begun to scratch the surface of what we are capable of.
It's less explored than the ocean.
and truthfully, even though you might not be able to recall something at the moment, you've never forgotten anything that you've ever learned. Truly forgotten.
Sure. Well, you're right. It's there somewhere.
There are some perishable skills.
Right. Okay.
You know, you might not be able to do a backflip on a bike the way you used to, but
there's
the
a
knowledge
certain trigger
is there.
that will bring whatever it is back.
Yeah.
But I still know every word to Ja Rule and Ashanti's Mesmerize.
Dude,
that will never.
Sorry. I was
leave
doing the
me.
same thing with the Chronic 2001 today. I was like surprised, baffled at how I knew all the words in my car.
I swear to God, play any
Just
track
rapping
from
all of
that.
them. But okay,
So I mean, really, to wrap it up, we've not even begun to come anywhere near what the human mind and soul and brain are capable of. And I think that's something that our generation is starting to understand. Between that and understanding and realizing that we're a world species, we are citizens of the earth, we're all humans. Doesn't matter if you're fucking purple or pale or pink or polka dotted like I am or brown or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. We're all here on the same planet. Sooner or later, these assholes that are fucking running the show right now are going to die, and forward-thinking people like us are going to step up. And we are starting to step up.
And there's going to be new
because there was
that
a
formed,
big
but we have to
void.
train the other people not to.
And there was a big void where a lot of us were just like, dude, I'm just trying to grow my radishes. I don't give a shit, right? Like, now people are trying to figure out, like, the actual everything, and that's rad. And I think that's where we're going.
Well, so my final thoughts on everything right now, as we are finally wrapping up, because we could go on forever, and I know that after we're done with this, you and I will go on forever, because this is honestly one of the reasons why we started this podcast, is because of moments like this, with just like you were saying earlier, you, myself, Phil, here at your fucking house, talking in this
room,
wee hours
shit.
of the morning, and just chilling and absolutely enjoying every bit of it. Like, those are the moments when you realize, like, you know, you're here because you want to be here, because you're talking, and you're not forced to be here, and you're making those irresponsible, and I'm saying that with the finger quotations, of decisions to stay out till 5 a.m. But you know what? Those particular nights are not the ones you regret, because you know that was fulfilling. And
I don't
so
regret
that is
shit.
right, and I know. And so this is what I'm saying. You know, like, this is going to be a devastating thing for us in one way, in the fact that you're going to be leaving, but you're going to be going, and we know that you are going to be the catalyst, as you know, have become the catalyst for these other people wherever you are, and I call it the ambassador. You know,
It feels like we are one thing,
Yeah.
one singularity. You
Right.
know, and it's just like that. These ideas fucking will, you know,
force that in there.
because
it's not even like us. I feel like we are each other.
we really
you know?
haven't known each other that long in terms of the relative human experience. Like when people say, "Oh, I've known him for 11 years," like we really haven't even known each other for more than 5 years, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. But it's not like I saw this saying on a track shirt one time. It's not the hours you put in, it's what you put into the hours. And so that's the same fucking concept with what's going on. It's not about how long
it's
we've known
like-
each other.
it's
It's
like-
about our experiences and how meaningful they were based on what they were. And so I'm going to wrap this up real quick because we're going to keep talking. And but what we know, we're going on. and
We're
on, but
40
like,
minutes over time.
yeah, so this is what we're saying is like that, you know, wherever you go, wherever any of us goes on our endeavors, I have no doubt that people are going to spread the message, the overall message that we all are, you know, that we all agree on, that's brought us all together.
Personally, I think it's about time one of us got out of here to do that.
Yeah,
And I'm happy to be the
You're like
guy.
a missionary.
there you go.
Missionary.
Like
Yeah.
You're the
Just gonna-
ambassador.
Yeah.
You're the ambassador.
I'm the catalyst.
You're the
Still
catalyst.
trying to
There
sell
you
people
go.
special underwear.
Well, dude, I
dig it, man.
fucking we love you so much
Love
for
you
coming
guys.
on.
Thanks for having me
dude.
on.
Yeah, and we love that, you know, we could just pull you on here and come and talk this out before you get to leave.
I do live downstairs.
You do live downstairs, But
Which
you
is
know
why
what?
I am refusing to say anything like that right now.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
I love you guys.
We're all in different. I love you too.
Cheers.
You know, I
Thank
love
you for
too,
coming
brother.
on. And you know, Phil, what have you got coming up?
Well, I guess we can. Maybe we broke the news a little bit early, but you know, we can officially talk about the Big Bang now. We got that coming up on June 28th at Union Nightclub in
Bang,
LA.
bang.
And we have got some sick headliners. We've got like this is a big fucking deal, man. This is one that we're putting a lot of energy and attention to. And I'm proud of it. I think this is gonna fucking, as the kids say, slap. So
Do they
Yeah.
say that now?
Wait,
Oh,
what kids? Did
it's
you on
gonna
this?
slap.
Okay, I don't talk to kids.
You know
so
what?
I don't know what they're
you
saying.
fucking grandpas need to get with the fucking program.
No, it's
Can
gonna
I
be
do-
a dope ass event.
And if you want to get with the program, make sure that you subscribe to this show however you go ahead and get your podcasts. Because you can find us on iTunes, on Slacker, on Pinterest sometimes, maybe. No, not
Spotify
really.
now.
Spotify. You can
Yes.
find us anywhere that you get them. So
On
make sure that
Spotify.
you're subscribed and that you're getting us into your phone, your phony phone, every Thursday. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to us on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Let It Bleed Cast. And beyond that, go out and do something nice for your mother.
Can I plug me real quick?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so on Instagram, I am Mr. That's spelled out MISTER .please. That's Mr. Please. But more importantly, what I wanted to talk about was my new pet. I'm Snek Dad. That's Snek, SNEKDAD Dad. We got a new pet in the house. His name is Bodhi. He's got an Instagram. He's super cute. It's BODHIS Bungalow. Bodhi's Bungalow. At Bodhi's Bungalow. How does Insta work?
yeah, that works.
Yeah, Bodhi's Bungalow. That's his Instagram. He almost has more followers than me, so check him out. He's super cute.
Well, I think we can beat that. All right, everybody, go out, unsubscribe from Aaron,
Yeah, no,
follow
fuck me.
Bodhi,
Fuck me.
follow
right?
the snake.
Yeah. Well, and then you know the Let It Bleed cast is always too.
Yeah,
Oh, and there's that.
yeah, we got that one. Yeah, well, while you're at it, go ahead and get that one done too.
Yeah. So you guys know you listen to us all the time. Hopefully, we're hoping that this wasn't your
Yes.
first or your last episode. We're hoping that you guys
Well,
have.
there's
tuned-
no show next week too. I feel like I should mention that too at the end.
Oh yeah, because Phil is important and he's got things that he's got to do.
We got shit to do, man.
He's a busy guy. Phil's
we
the
could knock
hardest
it out.
working man
Dude,
in
I
show
think-
but
business.
Let's just you and me get together and do one.
I wouldn't know what to do. It's if this show only runs because of him. I can literally just show up.
Wait,
sit
I
here
can learn
and
it.
talk-
I'll YouTube it.
You probably could,
could.
but you know
Good
what?
fucking
It saves
luck.
whenever he's falling off. It also saves me some time too, because we need these little.
We should just record one on our phones and then give it to him later to just like upload.
Oh, we've done it before. He does all that. He does all of that. But you know, anyway,
On that note,
on that note, thank you all for fucking tuning in. We love all of you guys. This is one of those episodes where we were just doing exactly what we kind of wanted to do from the beginning, which is just free form conversation with somebody, our closest people. And, this is us to a T, to just us expressing our passions and to hear ourselves talk about how far we've come.
Wednesdays at 8 on
It's
NBC.
amazing. So love you all. Thank you. And as always, let it bleed.